Welcome to YST Teaching. I'm today's tutor, Susie. This video will introduce you one of the major ways in solving a quadratic equation, which is by using the quadratic formula. And the other two ways include factorization and completing a square. As you may know, quadratic formula equals to negative b plus and minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And have you ever wondered why is it like that? So this leads us to today's topic, the deduction process of the quadratic formula. A normal form of a quadratic equation is like this, where a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is a constant. In order to find x equals to something, which is the formula to solve any quadratic equation, we need to rearrange this equation. First, we need to divide both sides by a to get an x squared, which will be more convenient in the further steps to solve x equals to something. So we get this by dividing both sides in a. And then we find that we still do not have an x equals to something that is made up of solely those constants and those coefficients. So we need to reduce the power of 2 here to the power of 1, which is x. So we do this by completing the square. And why is it like that? You can recall that the formula for the expansion form of this one equals to this formula. And why do we need to complete a square? Because after we have completed a square, we can square root both sides. And then we can have x plus some constant equals to something. And then we can get x equals to something. So this is an important step for us to find x. So we complete a square like this, and then we write the rest of the equation. And notice that this is an equation, and we have already added an additional part, which is b squared over 4a squared on the left-hand side. So in order to keep both sides of the equation the same, we need to add the same thing on the right-hand side as well. So to write a next step, we have already completed the square. So now it's time for us to write down the square. And then we can remove c over a to the right-hand side. And we can write this as a single fraction. Which will be more convenient for us to square root both sides. So we can square root both sides now. After square rooting 4a squared, we can directly get 2a. And then the denominator part would be like this. And don't forget that we are doing a square root process. So for this x plus b over 2a, it can be either a positive number or a negative number. So we need to add a plus or minus sign here on the right-hand side. And then by rearranging the formula, we can have this by removing this part to the right hand side. And then finally we have the quadratic formula. So this is the whole deduction process, and that's all for today's video. And if you have any further thoughts or questions, please feel free to comment below. And if you think this video is useful to you, please do not forget to like and subscribe our channel. See you next time. Bye!